Hello and welcome. We are here. We've finally got here for round 10 of season 4 Contest of Speed. It is tier 1. Yeah, apologies for the delay, but it's just we're trying to make sure we had enough people to do the race today. Unfortunately, we have got 10, so everyone has a chance of winning points as long as they finish. Yeah, I'm here today, Lewis. I'm returning back from my illness last week, and we got Perry returning as well. Welcome, Perry.
Thanks, Lewis. Should be a fun race today. It's shorter crowd. I think some of the holiday season is starting to catch up, and a lot of these kids, I shouldn't say kids, really young adults in these leagues have, college finals right before the break. So do hope that they do the best. I think Mitch is in that case, and a couple others. So yeah, it's going to be a short, smaller lobby today, but a great chance for all of these guys to get some points.
Absolutely. And I don't know if it's going to be like I don't know if the rules are exactly like F1 real life F1 would be, where if you don't finish, isn't it like 75% of the race, you don't get points?
It's 90%.
Yeah,
90%. So
yeah. So I don't know if we are applying that today or not. But I'm sure if one of the admin guys can let me know, and I'll be able to clarify that in the commentary. But yeah, at the moment it is dry. Also, if guys can let us know about the weather forecast, that will also be of interest to see what it will be like for the rest of this session and for the race. So we've got 15:24 on the board, and a few of the guys, only a couple yet to, one person still in the pits, that is Raikkonen. But everyone else on their out laps, and a couple of guys already on their hot laps as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward quali, and I think that everybody's doing so with the soft tires and planning on starting the softs. Obviously, being no outside the top 10s, there's really no chance to start on alternate tires after you set a lap. So I think pretty much we'll see everybody doing the same strategy, which makes it a lot more based on skill and ERS and that kind of thing.
And the big thing here, the undercut is really quite strong round here. A lot of people were pitting quite early, I found yesterday, but earlier than I would have thought to. But what do you think? I mean, the ideal scenario probably is like lap 12, 13, I would have thought, but obviously earlier can make a big difference with getting yourself further up. It's just a case of struggling towards the end. But how did it? I know we both didn't finish, but how do you feel if you do pit earlier? Is like lap 10 a bit too early, or can you make it last?
Yeah, that's as times start coming in fruitful, setting the bar pretty high at a 104.3. I thought that really lap 10 was at probably the soonest you could come in for, and you really would have to manage your mediums because they would be dropped dead awful at the end of the race.
Yeah.
And I was looking through a couple practice. Lap 12 was probably where I would go. I think I actually pitted lap 11 lap earlier just because everybody else around me was already coming in. So because that undercut is so big, people make the decision for you. If you do stretch it to lap 12, but everybody else pits lap 10, it is difficult to pass around here. I think one of the few opportunities to pass is into turn 2 at the top of the hill. So, when you think about the lack of opportunities and the DRS train that forms around this track, it is, very difficult, and that's why strategy and undercutting other drivers around you is so huge.
Absolutely. I feel like they've got too many DRS areas around here. Considering it's such a short track, you've got half the track with DRS, and that's not really an exaggeration. It's mental. Like, obviously you've got the main straight, which I personally don't think the main straight needs DRS. But like you said, the problem is that particularly at the beginning of the race, you can't overtake unless you're the guy behind a person without DRS. Everyone else, though, it's just a big train all the way along. It's like almost like an oval. It's the closest F1 gets to oval racing, really, for that first segment before, obviously, people are able to get out of that DRS zone and start pulling away. But yeah, a Fruitful on pole at the moment, 104.3. Just a 10th clear of Matrix in P2. NSX Lion P3. Big Slater 4th. Carlsbury 5th. Javi 6th. Ginger in 7th. Jamie 8th. And Raikkonen is about to do a lap, but that is invalidated. It would have been a
He went
104.4.
way wide out of the second to last corner. That is something you can so easily do. And one thing about the track limits at Austria, they're extremely, I think, vigilant and strict. Outside of exit of turn 1 and that exit out of the second to last corner, there's another little spot right at the end of sector 2 where if you run a little wide, you could see yourself invalidating. So that obviously is what happened, and I can't tell. I think Raikkonen's probably backed off and will come in again. Another thing to mention, and I'm not sure what the penalty is or what the situation is for qualifying, but I know watching earlier, Zach actually, really blatantly kind of screwed up his pit entry. So I don't think that'll be anything for qualifying. He was pretty much alone, but obviously during the race, that's one thing that we've made note of about the 20-second extremely harsh penalty if you do not enter the pits properly.
Yeah, I'm on board with Fruitful. On his second quali run, our current pole sitter, and heading now down towards, well, officially turn 4, but really is the third major corner on this track. Very short lap. Oh, he gets a bit of a bit of oversteer, bit of wheel spin. Oh, I wonder if that lose him a bit of pace going up towards turns 5 and now 6. Long sweeping corner, runs out, but I think he's got away with that. Yep, he's not backing out on the RS. The final 2 sectors carry so much speed, it goes a little bit too much, although at the first part of that corner, and I think he's given up on it. Yeah, he has. He must have dropped a load of time there in that second to last corner, and he does so. So, yeah, it just looked like he tried to carry a bit too much speed, understeered wide, knew he had to sort of back out, otherwise his lap time would have been invalidated anyway. Or maybe he did invalidate because he did run pretty close to being off the track. Matrix looks like he's on an outlap. So who else? There's no one else who's... Well, actually NSX is on a hot lap. He's 500s up on his previous best. So that would be enough to get him into P2. But these final 2 corners in this last sector, you can gain so much and lose so much. So here he comes. That looked pretty tidy to me. Final corner, that looked good as well. Down towards the straight he goes. It's a 1.4.1. Wow, pole position. Massive gains on that final sector.
This is NSX's first real welcome to Contest of Speed. Kind of an empty welcome. Nobody's home at the moment. But that was a terrific third sector we were on board for. Just absolutely nailed it. Interestingly enough, he went and took 7th gear into the penultimate corner, which something I did was go up to 8th gear and felt like I got the red, but I think it's easier for him to switch down just that 1 gear, go down into 6th, and it makes that transition so much easier that you can focus on hitting the apex perfectly, which is what he did.
Yeah, it looks really good. Yep, Carlsbury's on it.
107.4 so far. So close in the midfield and as well.
Oh,
he's overdone. Yep.
He cut the corner.
Oh. And that's invalidated him. Looks like Zach's coming back around and he's gone too wide as well. Well, there's either way with it, he's still in it. Oh, he goes P2.
Yeah.
He went way wide on the exit of the final corner, and I think he backed out of it a little bit to avoid invalidation, and that little mistake probably cost him P1, you would think. Easily cost him a 10th right there.
Interestingly,
either way,
that was his second lap on those tyres, so if that is his best lap, he's going to have done an extra lap on those softs, which will make it... Well, most likely will have to undercut as Raikkonen goes on provisional pole now. 1.4.107, so 500ths clear of line. Expect this to be a very close qualifying because it is such a short lap around here. But yeah, everyone will have one more run on one more set of softs. And Fruitful's decided to already go out on his final run, and so too is Matrix. Those two are together.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we talked about, we don't know the weather yet. If anybody wants to share in chat, if you are in chat or if Discord, I'm looking at Fruitful right now. If you want to let us know what the weather is, because that could be part of the reason why people are doing multiple laps on softs, is that it might be a wet start and you're going to start on wet tires or intermediate tires instead.
Yeah, the lap times look pretty competitive, to be fair, so which make you think they are on the dry setup. But yep, Fruitful and Matrix. So let's see how they do on their sector times. So I'm watching Matrix ahead of Fruitful on track, but Fruitful currently P4. Matrix coming into the end of sector 2 is an improvement. It is, he's a tenth and a half up, while Fruitful, meanwhile, he's 300ths down. So that's not good, but he could make it all up in the final. Oh, he runs wide. He runs wide.
Yep, Fruitful's off.
So,
into the gravel.
So here goes Matrix. Can he improve? He heads towards the finishing line. It's close. It is an improvement. 104.2, but in the end, it only gains him a place. Moves him up into P4, and Fruitful understandably pits, and I think that's him done for I believe that was all 3 sets he's used, so I think
one
that's
thing is,
him.
if you go the softer strategy, you could use an extra set of softs, so that might be what he's up to as well.
True.
Potentially.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
Another thing that I would want to throw out there is the fact that Al and Nolan are gone. And generally speaking, one or the other are out near the front. That's not always the case. Obviously, Carlsberg winning last week. But a big opportunity for whoever ends up finishing the podium, because, one, there's a lot of guys who finish on the edge of the podium, could be racing for the win today, and others who would maybe be racing for middle of the pack could end up seeing their way into a podium spot with just the 10 drivers. So it's a big opportunity for those that did show up.
Absolutely. And a lot of these guys are on outlaps at the moment. Raikkonen and NSX, I think he got messed up there because he was on a hot lap, I believe, and he had to back out of it. So he's going to go for another run. And he's only just ahead of Raikkonen, but Raikkonen's got a gap. So NSX will be on his final run as he goes after turn 1. Sector 1, not really much really, it's just one turn, and he's 1.5 tenths up though on his previous best, so it's a really good turn 1 for him.
Everything's been extremely clean so far. Apex the corner about as much as he could into turn 1, took as much curb as you can without invalidating. Everything so far has been pretty clean.
Oh, he's downgraded onto the high ERS. He's 800ths up, so he's lost a bit of time. But he's still up on his previous best. 800ths would be enough, but I think he's going for the pits.
He's backed out.
Wow.
Yeah, he's decided that's not going to be good enough. The question is, will he have enough time to come back around?
I don't think so. Oh, Raikkonen goes a bit wide, but is that lap going to still be validated? It is, and it's a... Oh, no, it's not. It's not validated. And Zach takes pole.
On a 104 flat. Let's say a following Zach. Once again, just a beautiful last sector from Zach. Able to, pretty much nail everything where Raikkonen had made a mistake. And that might be the difference for pole.
And Fruitful goes back in the pits. So, I wonder if he forgot to select a fresh set of softs. And that is going to be a nightmare for him, because I don't think he's going to have the time. He might just, but he's really pushing it fine. Unless which most probably is right, we've got the time incorrect. Maybe our clock is a little bit ahead of what it actually is. Varamir's putting in the chat he would have been P4 right now. But... And Titchy said I would have been P6.
We should have invited Varamir for this race.
Yeah, should have put him in as a wild card.
Would have been a little bit of humbled Varamir a little bit after taking the win yesterday.
Yeah, we don't want him to get cocky now. You know, he's won a race and not crashed for a change. He's going to be getting too big for his boots, I think. But I believe we've got the clock definitely wrong because everyone's gone back into the pits apart from Matrix. No, we got 3 people out on track at the moment on outlaps. So
Carlsberry is going to be the first one that looks like to start his final lap as he exits the final corner right now. Matrix is actually the back end. We've got 2 McLarens ahead of Matrix.
Yeah.
And look, Carlsberry, I might have, yes he did, he cut the first turn, and that means that he's going to end with a 104.5 unless he can get back around.
So here goes Ginger. He is the next one along. Maybe his teammate can help him with a bit of slipstream further down the lap. What does Ginger come up with? He's always not a very good first sector at all, and in fact he's aborted it. So no improvement for Ginger, so we'll pay our attentions back to Matrix then. And Matrix has also had a poor first sector, and he is backed out of it. So, who have we got next then? NSX, who's about to start their first lap? I think it's going to be NSX. Yep, it will be NSX, followed by Jamie. So NSX onto his final lap. Ooh, that could have been close. No, he's still going for it.
You can definitely cut turn 1 a little bit if you hit it perfectly.
Yeah, it has to be
NSX
spot on.
has actually done it perfectly, I think, both times we've seen him.
Yeah, and it shows he's a 10th clear of his previous best.
Turns into pretty much a one-shot qualifying at this point. Overshot a little bit, turn 4. Could have been a little closer on the apex, but overall not awful.
Yeah.
It should be just a fantastic race to watch because between Raikkonen, Zach, and Lion, I mean, these guys have been just so quick and so consistent. And the way Austria will be, it'll just be an absolute dogfight in the front of the field.
Oh, he runs wide. Is that going to be still counting?
It does. It does, and he does just under 104.
And here goes Javi. Javi improves to P6. So who else have we got? Carlsberry, he's come through P5. Zachart's coming in last corner. Oh, he goes too tight.
Screwed it all up.
Yeah, and he got
it all up.
Yeah.
Here comes Raikkonen into this penultimate corner.
Yeah, looked lovely, that last corner anyway. Here we go. It's going to be quick, and it is! 1.3.8. And Fruitful moves up into P4 with his final run. So Slater's crashed. And still improved.
Slater's invalidated.
Oh, he invalidated. Oh, I was about to say, I think he actually improved his lap time. It said
not enough.
Might not be. But yeah, 1.3.833 for Raikkonen. NSX in second on his debut. Fruitful 4th, Matrix 5th, Carlsberry 6th, Javi 7th, and it just cuts away. But a good so far, good debut for NSX, being in P2, just narrowly missing that pole position. We got Ginger in P8, Big Slate in 9th, and Jamie in 10th. So all those guys. To be fair, I'm surprised at the gap. 7 tenths, nearly 8 tenths between first and second for track round here, Tier 1.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks where there's not ever going to be a huge difference from.
No. Yeah.
first to 10th. So, but obviously, I think Jamie, even the bottom half, Ginger Ninja, Javi, Slater, they all made mistakes, or else I think any of those three, especially Slater, I actually raced with him earlier today, and he spanked me in a couple of multiplayer races. Could have probably done a 104.2 if everything could have went right. So.
Oh, it's raining.
Yeah, there's our answer with the tire strategy as well.
So I'm guessing though, due to the lap times, that I'm guessing the rain isn't staying. Because if it was rain throughout, I would have thought people would have gone on wets. So maybe some have. Maybe that's why the gaps are bigger. But I doubt. If it is going to dry out, then that would be why everyone went on dry setups.
The key with, especially now in the wet at the start, is if you have maybe a hybrid setup, to make about as much moves and as many spots that you can. There will be definitely mistakes even in a hybrid setup with, I think it probably should be inters or possibly even wets depending on how long it's raining, although the track looks pretty dry, so it'll probably be inters. As couldn't tell if that was probably Zach that probably hit X first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't think that he's a newcomer, so not surprised that he might not know all the P's and Q's of all the rules. But
that's it. I just need to take a leak, but while this formation lap is on, but I'll be back shortly.
Please turn your mic off. No one wants to hear that.
I'm human, but I'll be back shortly. I'll keep you in the good hands of Perry.
Alright guys, let's run down our starting order. What top 3 predictions? You have less drivers to choose from today, so we'll see what plays out. We got Raikkonen in P1, Lion P2, Zach in P3, Fruitful, Matrix, Carlsberry P3, 4 through 6, Javi in P7, Jinja P8, Big Slater P9, and Jamie 1S in the Red Bull in P10. We're not Crofty Verimir, so, and it does look like everybody is on their dry tires, and that's probably something I should have noticed earlier than now. But unless the stream is screwed up, pull up telemetry. Yeah, everybody is on dry tires, so it's just fairly light rain starting the race, and maybe this might throw people out of. They expected to be on the wet tires, and now they're going to be on dry tires and some sprinkles coming down. Looks like a McLaren just went off in the background there in the formation lap. Carlsberry. Verimir says there will be chaos turn 3. Well, that is likely, although we don't have Lewis in this race at turn 3, so we don't have to worry about any dive bombs through the grass.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
But noticing these guys are on dry tires and it's raining, so I don't know if the game's either, kind of glitched and done that, or if we could see everybody pit immediately. Should be an interesting start at the very least to see who spins their tires and who doesn't.
Yeah, so obviously, maybe. Yeah, this is very strange. This is, I've not seen this before.
Okay, so here we go. Lights come on. Mine stopped at 1 light. 5 lights are on, and they're out, and we've got the glitch. Eventually, any moment, and here we go. We are green from Austria. Raikkonen gets off to a hot start. So does Zach. Peaks along the outside. 3 wide into turn 1. Lion takes the lead. Raikkonen in the middle. And Zach completely leaves the track. Rejoins in front of everybody. That's got to be an illegal overtake. Raikkonen has the inside, so he's able to make it past Lion, who gets shuffled back to P4. Raikkonen's going to go down the inside of this next corner. Zach tries the outside, and they both run wide. Fruitful gets a touch from Carlsberry from behind that sends him wide. And they both survive. It is just a madhouse here on the first lap. Now Zach trying to get to the inside of turn 4. Will peek to the inside of Raikkonen. He's going to send it. Will he make it stick? He does. Raikkonen runs wide. and that sends Zach into P1 once again.
I think this track is wet because the way they've taken these corners, it's pretty treacherous. So I'm guessing that the rain is a very low level, so it's too wet for, well, it's just about dry enough for slick still, but it's not the most ideal conditions, and a few people getting caught out in those first couple of corners.
Fruitful,
yeah!
Around the outside, Fruitful around the outside of Carlsberry in the penultimate corner, and then gets the move done in the last corner. So Fruitful back up to P4, and now he's got to hold off both McLarens. Everybody stays on the track, so I think the sprinkles might be going away as the race goes on. The McLarens touch, and Carlsberry runs wide, but then it takes the position.
Yeah,
meanwhile, up front, we have Raikkonen in P1 and Javi in P2, so Zach must have done something wrong. As Javi runs wide into turn 3, he'll keep P2. But yeah, Raikkonen's back into P1, so I think Zach had a moment at the turn 1 and shuffled back down to P3.
What a crazy couple of laps we've had. This is brilliant.
The McLarens are still side by side.
Yeah.
Jincho gets through Carlsberry.
We should have more of these situations, where it's a damp start to the race. Unbelievable start. I think, it's Zakar is, he did take the lead going in before turn 1 and then ran wide, and it's still very tricky. Like, the guys are tippy-toeing around this final sector. And the lap times, we're in the 1 minute, this is the first full lap, 1 minute 13s. So it definitely is not.
The rain is, I think, stopping though. I think the rain's slowing down just a little. No, it's coming down harder. Is now Zach runs wide once again. Fruitful tries to take the inside and ends up in the grass to avoid Zach a little bit. Or Fruitful just lost it back in himself. One or the other. I think that he had enough room on the outside for Zach, but instead Fruitful has to go through the grass, and that just shuffled down the Ferrari to P10.
Yeah, surprised
and now we've got another battle back for P3. Zach got a terrible exit. We've got DRS. Jinja is looking down the inside as we head into turn 3. Jinja takes the inside and will make the pass into the final podium spot here at P3. Zach is slowly shuffling his way back, and now in P4, and Carlsberry is all over the back end of him.
Yeah, it's I can't. I think Zakhart lost it, and I think Fruitful, trying to avoid it, took a tighter line on the exit at turn 1 and just span those rear wheels up, and Fruitful all the way in the back bump. So I don't know how no one's got any penalty, wing damage rather at the moment. Zakhart runs wide, and I think the other McLaren's going to get past him. Oh, they're side by side.
Carlsberry runs him off, and Zach loses the back end and loses a wheel. He has lost it, and his race is over. And that was one of those situations where Carlsberry went for a spot that got opened up from Zach running wide and went for it, took it, and then, Zach runs onto the rumble strips outside, and that's his race over. That's unfortunate for somebody who had such a great qualifying, and even at one point was leading this race after the first lap, and is now going to finish in 10th.
Yeah, it was going to be one of those, when you go on the exit rumble strips, in these conditions, it's so much slippier, and losing the rear end. It's definitely getting wetter. I can start to see a spray appear on the track. It might have been worth starting on the intermediates, but it would have been such a risk to do that. But it is very treacherous. There was no fastest laps on that last lap, so the track is definitely getting greasier. So I'll be interested to see if anyone did gamble, maybe further down, which is why their qualies were so bad. Maybe anyone did do a wet setup. I doubt it, but NSX is starting to recover from his disastrous earlier start rather. He's now into P5, and
he just sets the fastest lap.
1:13.4.
He's got to find his way past these two McLarens. By the way, meanwhile up front we still have Javi in DRS behind Raikkonen, who's been able to kind of break away the top 3 as the McLarens are racing each other at the top of the hill into turn 2. Jinja peeks down the inside, but Carlsberry has the move done around the outside. Now we'll see the other McLaren, Jinja and Lion, get the DRS down the final third DRS straight. Lion stays put into P5.
Oh, Jinja spun! Jinja loses it!
Jinja has lost it, and he's That's going to be killer. As he's dropped from P4 all the way to P7, and Matrix is going to be on the attack now. And Matrix gets cut off. I thought he was going to try to move down the inside, but thinks better of it. And so Jinja down to P7. That's huge for Lion, and that's one of those things where it looked like Lion was just going to be patient and wait for a mistake before trying to make a move in the DRS train, and that time it paid off.
Yeah, I think it was Ginger got too close to the back of Carlsbury. He might have tapped the back end and lost that rear, and then lost the rear. So, but thankfully he actually hasn't lost that massive amount of time, and he's right at the back now. Big Slater and Matrix is obviously right behind him, but Fruitful is starting to catch these guys up as well. Oh, and Big Slater and Jamie up battling out for P5. Big Slater with the DRS.
Has the outside.
Yeah, he's
got the position done.
Nice job.
Now it looks like Ginger's going to possibly try moving, although Jamie has DRS, so might have to defend Jamie. Ginger's going to send it from way outside, but gets it stopped in time. Jamie holds on to P6. This track is drying out for sure as people keep setting better laps.
Ginger
just sends it again. Jamie just seems to be crawling right now through the second sector. And Ginger Ninja just trying to find a way around, although it's almost impossible to make a move through these last two sectors.
Well, it has stopped raining now. So the track, the lap times are coming down now. 110.1 from Raikkonen.
Fruitful and Matrix are going to be drag racing each other down the front stretch, and if Fruitful having the inside line will... Well, Matrix tries to stay around the outside, but Fruitful says enough of that, I've got this spot, and shuffles Matrix back to P9, and now Fruitful begins to climb out of what was essentially the last car on the track to try to make his way back into the race.
Yeah,
right now Raikkonen is pulling the gap away, though, now 2 seconds to Javi.
Yeah, the real battle we've got essentially is for P6. Jamie, Ginger, and Fruitful. Matrix losing a bit of ground. He's 1.1 behind Fruitful. But NSX is about a second behind Carlsbury. Carlsbury's a second behind Javi. He is hauling Javi in now. Javi, as the track's dried out, Raikkonen has been able to extend that gap.
Oh, Fruitful just about lost it coming out of the second to last corner. He was dirt tracking it and able to make the save, and that's the thing about Fruitful. He's such a good driver that even in times where a mistake happens, he can still keep the car, 4 wheels on the track. Well, it did cost him a little bit of time. He still has DRS. Ginger's going to try around the outside on Jamie once again, and this time with the DRS, Ginger has made his way past and into 6th place, and I think Jamie's just kind of lacking a little bit of pace right now, and that's why you see him getting shuffled back. Fruitful going to try down the inside of turn 3, and he'll have the move done as well. So Jamie down to P8, Ginger Ninja, Fruitful move up a spot into P6s and 7.
Yeah, good job from Fruitful and Ginger getting past Jamie, and Matrix seems to be struggling now as well. So, interestingly, you got Carlsbury right up the back now of Javi. 4 tenths is the gap.
NSX Line's also there as well, 7 tenths behind Carlsbury. So
he's flying at the moment.
And he just set the fastest lap at a 108.2, so he definitely, I think, kind of waited until those tires really came to life, and now it's going to push later stint for the softs, but does have a couple guys ahead of him that he needs to figure out a way to get past. And right now, Carlsbury doesn't look like he's too aggressive trying to get by Javi, at least at the moment, although they're right nose to tail heading down this back straight. The line's right on the back of Carlsbury, but again, too late to make a move.
I'm surprised that Carlsbury wasn't able to make a move with the DRS advantage he should have had. But he's losing the rear end there, getting a bit twitchy, and NSX is all over him.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the back, we have Slater just starting to struggle on the softs, and Ginger Ninja Fruitful right behind him as well. So this could be a big lap. Carlsbury Lion almost go side by side. Carlsberg is
They are.
struggling, and they still somehow made it work. And that was incredible driving. Ginger Ninja goes by Big Slater, who's into the pits already. And Ginger Ninja picks up a corner cutting penalty, as now Fruitful will get by him, headed down the front straight. We'll switch over now, looking into turn 3, turn 2, and they're still behaving pretty well. Now Carlsberg peeks to the outside, side by side. Javi gives him some space on the outside to work. Carlsberg, Javi side by side for second place. Waiting in the wings is Lion. Maybe he can make a move, make a double overtake. Here we go into turn 3. Javi still on the inside. Carlsberg swoops around the outside.
What a move.
And makes the work done. P2 for Carlsberg, the winner last week at Singapore, and making some big moves here to potentially put himself into contention here on lap 10 around Javi. And now Lion, he's been pretty patient so far, and now I think, he's got to make a move here pretty soon. Leaders are still not pitting yet. It's right at the opening of the stint as Carlsberg continues. And actually, no, Javi has come in. So we'll see how much the undercut works for Javi, if it'll put him back into second place.
Yeah, that could really... That's clever from him. Losing that track position.
Ginger Ninja's in as well. So Fruitful gets through there. Big Slater's put on the hards.
I think Carlsbury must have had an issue, because Carlsbury's dropped... It was a yellow in Sector 1, and he's 2.6 behind NSX now. So Carlsbury must have lost it.
I think he lost it at the exit of turn 1. He must have run pretty wide, so... Because Lion didn't make that move yet, so that had to be all on Carlsberg, I think, on his own. So now Lion, 4.1 seconds behind Raikkonen. Carlsberg now, lost 3 seconds right there, which is dreadful, and now Fruitful trying to, catch his way up. Meanwhile, you look at the back of the pack, Ginger Ninja, Big Slater battling.
Sorry,
is Lion about loses it? Yeah.
Yeah, he almost lost. Yeah. It was a big moment.
I think that's the point. And they stay out, so that's intriguing, is that the top 3 stay on the softs. We'll see what Fruitful does. Fruitful stays out as well, so it'll be a huge undercut for Javi and Ginger Ninja as well as Big Slater, as Carlsberg picks up a 3-second penalty, presumably, I think, in turn 1.
Yeah, and Ginger Ninja... Yeah, so you got Javi leading the runners who have pitted once. Ginger has a train of Big Slater. Big Slater's on the hards. Wow, he's gone for the hard tire. I think that's a mistake.
Slater came in early enough, and right now Matrix is all over the back of him.
Unsurprisingly.
Move done. Although, will Raikkonen come in this lap? It looks like he's going to stay, and he will stay on the racing line, and he will... No, he's going to dive in, but he didn't commit early enough. So if we are going to be strict about the pit lane, I mean, technically that would be a violation. Carlsberg and Lion still stay out. Fruitful is in. And Jamie's still out there as well, so... We'll see how well the undercut works if Fruitful, Fruitful loses time to Jinja as well. Javi is about 3.5 seconds back still of Raikkonen. And Fruitful's going to come out right next to Jinja.
And he's got plenty of ERS to use. Down the inside he goes, the Ginger Ninja. Ginger's going to hold it round the outside though. And I think they're both... Who's going to get DRS? It's Fruitful that gets the DRS, so that should help him complete the move. And I think he's got it. Yeah, Fruitful up into P6, but crucially ahead of Ginger. And that just shows you, though, the undercut was really powerful, that Fruitful. But Fruitful had good pace. He didn't lose too much time, and he gets ahead in the end. But he's 7 seconds, 7.5 behind Javi. So that shows you how much the undercut plays. Obviously, Javi was already ahead, by quite a margin, but 7.5 seconds as Carlsberg and NSX now pit. So
Jamie stays out. I almost wonder if Jamie's hoping for some sort of safety card to be able to make a free pit stop. As Javi has stayed out in front of NSX Lion, as Carlsberg will be in front of Fruitful a little ways as well, although only about a second separating Carlsberg and Fruitful. So Fruitful could be on a great rebound drive if he can keep on it. Reeling in the leaders to P5 as Matrix gets by Big Slater after it seemed like 3 or 4 laps of trying.
Yeah, he's through. I think Big Slater's going to struggle now with being on that harder tyre. He might start catching up towards the end, but they'll be, I would have thought, too little too late. Yeah, Raikkonen is hauling Jamie. Jamie, he has to pit, surely. And he does. So, Raikkonen runs deep. And Jamie gets a penalty for speeding.
Here's one thing I want to bring up is the pit road penalty. And, because I don't know if you were on board. I know I was, and Raikkonen wasn't anywhere close. But is that one thing where, and this is something, me asking you as somebody who's a steward, is that's a new penalty? Is that something where someone's going to have to turn it in, or could, essentially contest of speed, have a discussion about it just from the stream?
It's, well, as far as I'm aware, it's something that we will be looking at. Obviously, people report it, so if people are driving behind, see that, see ahead of them that people have done it that way, they can report it in. But obviously, if we've seen it on the stream as well, then that will be reported as well. 20 seconds is it's one of those, isn't it? It's a harsh penalty, but it is something that has been put in the mandate to. The whole reason for it is to put people off, to make sure they are doing the right thing. Especially with this track, I do get it, because the problem is if you have people, at least if someone's coming in the pits, they will go to the inside very early on before that second to last corner. Otherwise, you could have an issue of a battle going on and that person not knowing if that person's going in the pits. So it's more on safety grounds, which is why it's quite a strict penalty. But obviously, like you said, we've not had this before. But it is a case of people, if they see it happen ahead of them, reporting it in by showing us the footage. That's going to be the most that was the only way we can really truly police it, or if by chance we see it on the feed.
Okay, because like I said, I wasn't looking down at the stream when I saw it, but I switched ahead to see Raikkonen come into and he wasn't close to following the mandate, so I don't know if that's something that, because I think this is one of those moments where I think Raikkonen should probably win regardless.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things where, one of those ticky-tack things, and that's obviously not up to me, but that's up to the stewards. But is that going to be something where, come Saturday, you guys have a tough decision to make because, because of the way the rules are written?
Yeah, that's it. It's we don't want necessarily these sort of things to be happening, like real life F1. We don't want it to be rules change after in Saturday, for example. And that, I suppose, is the issue with the penalty being so extreme for this. So it's something that we may have to just to discuss, really, because when we look at if there are loads of people reporting this issue, then we may have to look at it again, we'll see what it is. But it is the whole point of it is to try and make people not just do last minute turn into the pits, because it would be dangerous on this type of track, and you would think it's quite easy to be able to stay in the racing in the pit line, especially if you know there's a real harsh penalty. So we'll see what whether that's see how many people have actually report the issue.
All right, and now that we've gotten that, I just wanted to mention it because I know it was something. Yeah, I'm kind of a turd like that. But anyways, we have Fruitful now making a move inside of Carlsberg, and it makes it look really easy. heading into turn 2. Fruitful now after the incident with Zach and it losing the back end. It is back up to P4. How about a drive for him? And Matrix as well now has worked it past Shinja Ninja in a pretty good battle for P6.
Yes, with NSX's... He's now nearly in that DRS as well, NSX, so looking for a tasty battle for P2. And yeah, Fruitful obviously ahead of Carlsbury now. Oh, Ginger and Matrix. Matrix and Ginger almost touching there. Oh, they're side by side. Going into the right hand.
Oh my goodness, and they ghosted. Oh, they just ghosted, or else that would have been a tragedy. Matrix doing everything he can to defend, but Jinja really trying to fight back and take that P6 away as Fruitful once again goes fast, is trying to run down the leaders.
Yeah, Fruitful's looking quick. Ginger will try again once he gets this this complex where he's in DRS, but Matrix got a really good run out of turn 1, which should save him from any attack.
I'll say pop ahead to P2 because Lion's on the back of Javi. Headed down the backstretch, heading into turn 3. Will Lion try a move? He will not. He will stay put behind Javi for second spot at the moment. Looking back at Matrix, and Matrix has actually created a little bit of gap between him and Jinja Ninja for P6, so Matrix might slowly try and edge away from Jinja.
Yeah, it's so far so good for Javi, but I think it's going to be a matter of when, not if. Can the Lion get past the Renault? He's really close now. He's going to save himself surely for a turn 2. Or he might even get there before turn 2 because Javi didn't get a good turn 1. Ran a bit wide in the sausage curb. So here comes...
He's looking for the outside, then switches back to the inside, down to the white line. Late move for Line, but that was a beautiful one. But Javi does a terrific job to stay around the outside. Now he'll have the momentum going down the backstretch, headed towards turn 4. However, Lion has the DRS. Javi's going to hug the inside. Lion tries the outside. And Javi defending the inside. A terrific job. Runs Lion wide.
He spins.
Lion spins, lost the back end. It is into the gravel. Oh my goodness. What a great battle. You got to admit, great defending from Javi, but NSX Lion just could not get the move done and then lost the back end last second. He also lost a pretty good chunk of front wing, so that will be, more than likely his race done. However, still finished P9, so if he does finish the race, I mean, he does get a couple points, but obviously not worth it. Javi now runs way wide out of the last turn. Did he get wing damage? No, he did not.
And look how much quicker they're catching him, because Fruitful and Carlsbury, Fruitful has 2-lap younger tyres and Carlsbury has 3-lap fresher tyres. And that is really already starting to pay dividends. And Javi also got a penalty, 3 seconds for excessive corner cutting. So Javi's probably under threat now, or is under threat from not even getting in the finishing on the podium. And Matrix has just got past Ginger again, so those two are having a ding dong still for P5.
Right now, I got to say, unsung quietly, Carlsberg has been able to keep it in DRS, and he's just going to try to stay within DRS of Fruitful, and then have Fruitful pull him up towards P2.
Yeah, it's... Carlsbury and Fruitful obviously did pit that a little bit later, which did cost them initially, but you do get, especially as the race gets closer towards the conclusion, it's going to pay them dividends. That investment they made in that first stint, going out a little bit longer, and it's showing now. I think, to be fair, these guys generally have a bit more pace over Javi. Javi was able to make a really good situation of it in the early stages with the rain, getting through a couple of the guys while they had incidents. But now he's under some real pressure. Fruitful had a little look, tried to make Xavi get distracted, but I think Javi will have just enough. He's not going to be quite close enough to make a move, Fruitful. Although he thinks about it.
Oh, Fruitful, he's going to send it down the inside. I don't think they made contact, but Fruitful gave a peek and Javi gave him space, but Javi being on the outside line around that corner gets the momentum in. might help him a little bit. I will say Javi and NSX, that was just terrific defending from Javi. You know, that's one of those spots where if you hold the inside, it's almost impossible to pass around the outside unless you have a bunch of DRS advantage.
Yeah,
And that's exactly what Javi did.
I think Javi's just not happy on the mediums. He's not as quick, and yeah, they're all over him right now. And again, it's a situation. He's struggling out of turn one. They almost make contact. I think they probably did make contact there. So they're side by side. Again, this is a mirror of what happened with NSX. Javi runs a bit deep.
Goes deep. And that's going to open the door right up for Fruitful to take P2. Will Carlsberg be able to follow him through?
And both don't have DRS, weirdly. And good defending from Fruitful. And now Carlsberg, desperate, he wants to stay in that DRS with Fruitful. He doesn't want to let Fruitful escape. Javi runs wide. Oh, and Carlsberg didn't really have much of a chance for a brief moment, though. It looked like he could have had a good opportunity of making the position before the DRS section. But annoyingly, Javi is going to get DRS for Carlsberg, so... Fruitful. So Carlsberg's going to struggle, and Carlsberg actually runs a bit deep, so he might have clipped that inner curb. 12 to go. 12 to go this time by and Javi runs deep again, but he's still in that DRS. Oh, and Javi runs a bit deep. That might make him struggle with getting a good exit off turn 2. But again, with DRS, he should be safe from the attacks from Carlsberg.
And this is one of those races now. Fruitful, if he can break DRS with Javi, and slowly but surely, I think Fruitful's trying to catch Raikkonen. I think the gap at one point was about 8 seconds or 9 seconds, and it's down to right around 8 seconds. So it's a long ways to go, but can Fruitful make the mediums last longer than Raikkonen and potentially try to race his way back up towards the front?
Yeah, Carlsberg's a lot closer this time, but Javi still is in that DRS zone. Only just. But just is enough. He's actually outside the second mark, but at the detection zone, he was still in 9/10 as the McLaren has a look down the inside here in turn 2. Oh, and it's side by side. But again, you can always get a good run if you're on the outside of that corner. But this time, Javi, they still have DRS. And Javi holds on again. Oh, he makes a bit of contact. No damage.
Carlsberg got into the back of him.
Yeah. But he survives. And but yeah, I think that's going to give Fruitful now that breathing space that he needs to keep hold of that P2.
And he's, again, slowly, I think, got 2/10 that lap, which isn't going to be enough. I think he needs some mistakes from Raikkonen. I'm not really sure what the penalties sit at. But, yeah, I think Fruitful just needs either a safety car or some sort of big mistake from Raikkonen to get a chance to race for the win near the end, unless he can pick up a tremendous amount of time. Things have definitely started to quiet down, but you look back at P5, Matrix and Ginger Ninja still battling it out. Ginger Ninja holding onto the back of Matrix via the DRS, and Ginger Ninja runs way wide into exit of turn 1.
Yeah.
This is one of those tough things where I think Matrix is at least quite a decent bit faster, but Ginger is just fast enough to stay within DRS, and you know, it's one of those mental things where Matrix always has to worry about the driver behind, and he can't afford to make a mistake.
Yeah, greedy. They're both obviously on very similar pace, because otherwise Ginger would be able to just steamroll his way past. But turn 1 is so crucial. If you can get a really good run out of turn 1, you're being the guy ahead, you can get away with holding someone behind. Because really, that, like you said, turn 2 is the main overtaking spot. The other two DRS zones, the straights are just not quite long enough unless you're right with that guy. And really, on the main straight, you don't want to be making a move, because otherwise you're then the sitting duck for turn 2.
Look at Carlsberg. He's still trying to stay with Javi and trying to get a move around him. Looks like he's going to have to wait another lap, however, a couple tenths away from making that move. Although Javi takes the outside, Carlsberg maybe peeks the inside a little bit, but stays put behind Javi for P3. Meanwhile, I think Ginger Ninja still getting a little bit closer to Matrix and has to back off last second and uses all of that curb on the exit of turn 3. I think Ginger Ninja's in a good spot because he's got 1 lap younger tires than Matrix. Matrix, 17 lap old mediums. Those suckers are going to be dead by the time we get to lap 33 or 34.
And Javi's only his tyres are a lap fresher, so he's going to be struggling towards the end as well. He's going to struggle to keep Carlsberg. Oh, Carlsberg has a moment. Carlsberg also gets 3 seconds, so he probably cut the inside of that corner too much. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they are like on penalties.
Yeah, I'm going to take a peek right now.
So yeah, Carlsberg and Javi having to defend, and Javi got a great run out of turn 2 and is safe from any issues, any threats. That will be at his corner. And Ginger has got past Matrix now, so Ginger is up into P5 and is already starting to pull a gap to himself and Matrix.
Yeah, so right now Carlsberg has 6 seconds worth of penalties. Javi at the moment is 3 and Fruitful has 3. I don't think Raikkonen has any yet. Ginger Ninja has 3 at the moment, I believe. And SX Line has 6 and Jamie has 6 on top of the 5-second pit lane penalty. So Matrix is 3 seconds as well, I think. So for the most part, 3 seconds, and except for Carlsberg now with 6. So even if he does get the move, even if he does get the move done and he does have a good run around the outside, he would have to put some time on Javi down the stretch.
I think he's got a good chance here. But
I don't know
so
how Javi's going to
power.
hug the inside. He's got so much power down the inside, hugs the inside, then bounces back outside. And Carlsberg still has to stay put behind him. Javi, yeah, he must have a lower downforce setup because he has
really
less
struggles.
ERS, but still pulled away from Carlsberg.
They ghost, or they're ghosting right now.
That's a bit strange. And this might help Carlsberg. Nope, he's going to bounce around the outside to avoid that. It is an odd point in that track where we've seen them ghost quite a bit, trying to make moves in that area.
So here we go again then. But I feel like Javi's tyres are starting to struggle, and that's allowing Carlsberg to be really close. But it doesn't get the best turn 1, and that should let Javi off here. He's going to get close to him.
That's been Carlsberg's biggest issue, and we'll see if he can get a better run. Maybe a little bit of contact. Nah, not quite enough, but yeah, Carlsberg just needs to get a better exit out of turn 1 to set him up for the rest of the couple DRS zones. And right now that's been, although he does run a bit deep in the braking point, and that if he would have made it stick would have worked, but not on 16 lap old mediums. And Javi, again, just holding on for his life for P3.
I agree with his downforce. Yeah. I think his downforce is definitely lower because he struggles more in this part of the track. But he has, in the first part of the track, really good speed.
As we look back in the field, Ginger Ninja and Matrix, Ginger Ninja has been able to get by Matrix and move away quite a bit now, a second. And right now it looks like Matrix, looking at his telemetry, had the fuel save light on, so for just a moment he might be having to save a little bit of fuel as the race goes on.
This could be the moment, but again, Carlsberg, Carlsberg just not Just doesn't quite have the power, or he's not as smart with his ERS. One of the two.
He has a little bit more
Oh,
ERS.
he's trying to undercut.
Oh, he's trying a little bump and run, I think, about, but it doesn't work. Yeah, Javi's just a tremendous defender as well. We saw that with NSX Lion, and yeah, right now it looks like that's just been the difference, is the lower downforce and Javi's ability to defend, although Carlsberry now looking around the outside going into second to last corner, backs out of it smartly. Well, surely that would have ended in tears for one of them.
Yeah, Javi really showing he's now 6 seconds behind Fruitful. So we've... and the thing is, Carlsberry's not using overtake, but he's much closer this time. They're side by side. Javi's going to surely brake later, and he does, but has he gone too deep? Yeah, he's gone a little bit too deep. And now, surely, Carlsberry's got this.
Should have the advantage on the inside.
He just
Although
can't...
Javi's staying right next to him, but yeah, not enough. Finally, Carlsberry. Oh, they touched.
Ghosting.
That was weird.
Yeah, they're ghosting.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't think they actually touched, but on my screen they did.
Well, now it'll be interesting to see, can Javi stay in that DRS zone? Which I think he can. And will he battle? Oh, there's yellow in Sector 3. Who was that?
I think that's NSX Line, who's just slowing down to try to get the best run out of the last corner to set the fastest lap.
Yeah, you're right.
Which he does take home that bonus point because he's in P9 still.
Yeah, so it's absolutely worth it.
It is, yeah, it is absolutely worth it. You can't blame him because he's done an extra stop to put on softs.
I think Carlsberry's done enough. He's been able to pull an 0.8 of a second gap to Javi, so even with DRS, Javi's not going to be able to retake that position on track. So I think we've pretty much settled that. Ginger hasn't been able to get away from it. Matrix is now back in DRS zone. So it's not over yet with that battle, but Ginger just seems to have that little bit enough, a little bit more, and also has a lap fresher tyre than Matrix does.
One thing worth noting is you got to give a lot of credit to Fruitful too, who's been able to slowly chop into Raikkonen's lead. Although Raikkonen hasn't had to push, Fruitful's been able to keep pushing and get the deficit down to 6.2 seconds. Although peaking at Raikkonen, he's saved all his ERS and is now going to try to do a fastest lap on pretty old mediums. But I don't think he'll be able to do a 106 flat like NSX just said on fresh softs.
Yep, so NSX will take the fastest lap point. I don't think anyone's going to be able to challenge that with 2.5 laps to go. Matrix gets a 3-second penalty as he is closing in on Ginger. So we could have a battle towards the end. Matrix very close now behind the McLaren driver.
As of right now, Carlsberry still has, I think, 3 seconds more penalties over Javi, so he's right on the verge of breaking that 5 second. He's at, what, about 2 seconds, just under 2 seconds. So unless Javi can keep it, get a little bit closer, at least consistently not lose that much per lap, Carlsberry will still be able to finish third, counting the penalty as well. It'll be close.
Yep, so we are now on the penultimate lap of this race.
There's been a Sunday drive out front for Raikkonen. Although, I say this, he kind of does technically have a tough decision from the stewards, possibly. Although, it depends how evil Lewis and the rest of the stewards feel, I think, on later this week, and if they want to follow through with their penalties. Matrix looking around the outside.
Ginger.
Always got the advantage. Oh, they keep off each other.
What a move.
Now, he made the move, but now Ginger gets DRS.
Oh, the door's
Ginger's
shut.
looking for the inside, but the door is shut. Oh, and Matrix comes back across to make sure Ginger Ninja has to go as wide as he can, and Matrix got a rough exit. Will Ginger try to force it down the inside? He's gonna go for it. Oh,
Oh,
Matrix keeps the position. Side by
very.
side, they might have brushed a little bit, but Ginger Ninja forces his way through. Now Matrix will be back on the attack.
Yeah, he's gone down the inside for the penultimate corner. He's going to get this.
Oh my goodness, Matrix will take it back.
Nice.
But Ginger Ninja now will have DRS for the final lap. Wow, an exciting battle for P5.
Yeah, we'll stay for this bit and then we'll move to Raikkonen on the conclusion. Oh, Ginger's doing
Ginger
an unusual...
Ninja thought about a move into turn 1, which usually isn't ideal because the next turns, you know, you give DRS to the rest. Now Matrix hugs the inside. Late move down the inside for Ginger Ninja. He will break earlier than Matrix, and Matrix outbreaks himself, runs way wide. Ginger Ninja now has the inside and DRS, and surely that'll be P5 for Ginger Ninja unless Matrix can make some sort of crazy last move. Oh, Matrix runs into the back of Ginger Ninja. Ginger Ninja broke so early.
But Raikkonen is coming towards the finish line now, and he is going to take the race victory in Austria. So Raikkonen wins, and Fruitful is going to come home in second place. Carlsbury's there in P3. Is he going to be...
Is he going to be third? I think he's going to be fourth.
Yep, Javi
he
gets
does
that
come
third.
home fourth by about a second, counting the Carlsbury extra 3-second penalty. And Ginger Ninja Matrix is still right on the back of Ginger Ninja going to the line, and I think, no, they were equal in penalties, so that was a genuine battle for the end, but Ginger Ninja takes P5, and Jamie P7?
P8.
I didn't catch it. P8, okay. Big Slater P7. That was a pretty exciting race for only 10 drivers.
Yeah.
But Raikkonen was the masterclass for sure.
Yeah, we only lost one driver in the whole race, and that was early on in the damp conditions. Zakart with that mistake coming in the final turn. But a good recovery by Fruitful. Raikkonen with a very comfortable race, apart from the first couple of laps, you'd say. And Javi still holding on to that P3 position after penalties.
Yeah, Fruitful, I don't think we give Fruitful enough credit. I mean, once he spun, he was back at the very back end of the field and raced his way back up to P2. So, and NSX, we do give him a lot of credit for, you know, he made the mistake, was out in the gravel, but he did stick around in a spot normally where you wouldn't get points, only 10 of us. He sticks around and gets 2 points for finishing in 9th and then another bonus point for setting fastest lap.
Yeah, so good result by all those guys involved, and yeah, Lion also being able to use all the compound tyres on his way to the fastest lap. So I shall do the invites. Yeah, I think, who are we going to go for driver of the day though? I think possibly Fruitful, just because of his, from being all the way back, he had to basically get through he almost passed every single driver. Raikkonen was just a bit too far down the road, but my vote will go Fruitful.
Right now, as we conduct our podium interviews.
Yeah, so we'll wait for everyone to join.
It's going to be quite a while off, isn't it? Well, obviously we've got America's here to promote, but yeah, after that, it'll be 2020 before we come back, and it'll be Monaco.
Yeah. That is right, yeah, Monaco. We go from one short track to another short track, albeit another challenging street course.
I don't think Monaco fits the term short track because it does take up like 80% of the principality. It's literally the entire country they're racing in.
Yeah, they technically go through a brief bit of. The majority of the track is on Monte Carlo, but they do briefly, I believe, go on to the other bit, which is I think it's Monacoville. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's Monaco is not the biggest of places, but it is the shortest track in terms of actual size. But lap time wise, it isn't. I think Austria is the shortest lap of the year.
Yeah, until Zandvoort, which might be even shorter.
Yeah, true. Hey, I think we got all three.
Yep, we're good to go.
Okay.
Alright, do you want to start? Just make sure everybody's audio is set to share for the stream. That'd be great. Thanks. Okay, now we'll start with Javi, who finished a tremendous third place, and you had quite a race defending for your life. Obviously, Fruitful got through, but you and NSX Line had a great battle for a bit, and also a great battle with Carlsberry to the very end, in which Carlsberry did get by, but obviously you took the final podium spot on penalties. Please tell us, I guess, through those battles, what was your biggest worry in that second stint?
Yeah, so first of all, sorry for my English, because I never used to do interviews in English. It's only my second podium in Contas Pit. So then I had quite a good race. I start in the start everyone was crashing each other. I suddenly took a P2 just behind Raikkonen. Yeah, after that I don't have the pace to follow Raikkonen and maintain Fruitful and the McLaren behind. So yeah, after that some good fights with the McLaren and just stay in 3 seconds behind to get the podium.
Yep, awesome job, Javi. I guess another question: how slick was it at the start? Obviously, everybody was on dry tires, but there was the rain was spitting a little bit. How difficult was that getting started?
Quite difficult, because in my opinion, I had fortune, because everyone was dive bomb in the first lap, and I think Carlsberry hit me from behind in the first lap, and I nearly spin. That I saw he took out the Fruitful 2, and quite hard, but not impossible to race.
Alright, well, great job, Javi, on a podium P3 in Austria, and we look forward to seeing you back here on the other side of 2020.
Let's see. Thank you.
Alright, on to Fruitful now. Finished P2, and Fruitful, difficult day for you. Having a little bit of spin, I don't know if that was more so you trying to avoid the Toro Rosso or you just losing the back end in exit turn 1. But terrific rebound to come back from being with P9 at one point all the way to second place.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was a bit of a weird situation actually, because he just came back like I wasn't there. So he just came back like an idiot, as I would say. And yeah, half spun it, just came over the grass. Yeah. So that was a bit, but I felt super comfortable in the first two laps. I love those conditions, so I had the pace to be on top easily. So yeah, it's quite hard to half spin and get into the grass. I mean, I felt super comfortable, so yeah, hope for a better start, to be honest.
Yeah, one thing that we mentioned before the race was the tire strategy and how well the undercut worked, but those that pitted a little bit later, and you pitted I think 2 or 3 laps later than Javi, and others around you, you're able to kind of keep your position and also be able to even cut in a little bit to Raikkonen's time near the end. How was the tire situation with you, and did you practice a lot on those long, medium tires soon?
Well, I looked at my brother yesterday. I practiced a little bit with him, and I saw he pitted quite late. I think lap 14, and his tires were just so much better than the rest of the guys' tires at the end. So I just had to try to go a little bit longer than the rest, but I couldn't go much longer than lap 13, I think. So yeah, it was a choice that I would do that.
All right. Well, great job, Fruitful. Another podium finish for you. Solid second place gets you a lot of points for yourself. And again, we look forward to seeing you race next season. Come back fresh for Monaco. Have a good, happy holidays.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. And now on to Raikkonen, our race winner today from Austria. Really didn't have much excitement except for maybe at the start a little bit with Zach and others, but able to pull away really throughout that first stint and tell us, I guess, Raikkonen, starting in the rain, a little bit slick, having a lot of new fast drivers around you that you might not race with so much. I guess, what was your standpoint and what did you expect today?
What did you say, Dan? What you?
Just saying that you're racing against Zach and...
Just the last sentence.
Oh, I guess what did you expect today from the race?
Oh, yeah. I expected the race more exciting. Sorry. It was a bit exciting at the start, and I just had to push the first few laps and managed to control the race. Didn't need to push. So yeah, it's a bit shame that Zakat and Fitfool, I never how to say his name. Fitfool. When Zakat was there, I think it could be probably a good battle, but unfortunately there wasn't there. So yeah, it was very long race. I was tired, so just stay, keep the car and get it on the line.
Yeah, that was one of those things where we obviously Al and Nolan, good friend Nolan, wasn't able to race today, and a lot of people were missing. So it was a good opportunity for you to take advantage of that. I guess, what are some things that you do, or how do you keep focused when you're that far out in front and you've just got cruise control on?
Yeah, you just try to keep to drive, but be careful. You just push, but not 200%. In case there is a safety car or anything like that. So I didn't get any warning of the race, so it was very quiet. I think anyway, me and Fitfoot and Alan Zakat, we should have a nice battle on the next race, because I think the pace is very close. Nolan is a bit up compared to us, but yeah, if we are everyone and no issue on the race, I think it will be fun.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be a lot of fun watching some of the new drivers come in and fight with you and a lot of the front runners so far. So, again, congratulations, Raikkonen, on the victory, and look forward to, again, being around for Monaco to start 2020.
Okay. Is this after holidays?
Yeah, this is after the holidays. I think it starts, I don't know what day, maybe the first Wednesday in January or the second Wednesday. I'm not for sure, so... Awesome, but congratulations. All right, now on to Lewis to wrap things up, if he's still around.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, you want to do the promo read at the end of every race?
Yeah, so we've got the American tier tomorrow, Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and that'll be the final race of 2019. We have a 2-week winter break, and then we are back in January. Like I said, I believe if it's a 2-week break, I believe it'll be so it'll be like the first proper full week of January that we're back in, and that'll be with Monaco. So a special race, another short track, but a very tricky track. Well, you would say the trickiest of them all. So we'll see you then. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from all of us. And we'll see you for tomorrow's race, and then we'll be on with 2020. From all of us, good night.